it was just a couple of weeks ago that Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's lawyer, announced their decision not to amend their complaint against Blake Lively. The judge dismissed Justin Baldoni's claims of defamation against Blake Lively, which was a huge blow to his side of the case. However, he still has to defend himself against the claims of defamation that Blake Lively has leveled. And she has only become more unhinged, paranoid, and overly confident as time goes on. The latest update in this case is that Blake Lively's team has now issued subpoenas to a bunch of YouTubers who are favorable to Justin Baldoni, basically accusing them of colluding with Justin Baldoni in the smear campaign that allegedly took place against her last year.
I'm picturing like a giant Justin Baldoni head-shaped table around a perpetually burning flame where the anti-Lively cabal had their meetings, maybe in cloaks.
Bohemian Grove.
Baldonian Grove.
Right.
Yes.
So the subpoenas have been issued to Candace Owens and then also Andy Signore, who we've had on the show. He runs Popcorn Planet, and Perez Hilton as well. I wasn't aware that Perez Hilton was a Justin Baldoni defender.
I didn't know that either. News
to me. And interestingly, TMZ reported on this before the subpoenas were even issued, actually.
I mean, TMZ is always on the ball.
Pretty certain Blake Lively's team gave them the exclusive to report on it, because the headline came out and Candace Owens and Andy Signore both said, "We haven't gotten anything delivered to us. What are you talking about, TMZ?" And
so did Blake Lively pull one of those things where she let TMZ know ahead of time?
Yes, the same way that they colluded with the New York Times, allegedly, before her civil complaints against Justin Baldoni. And this is the headline. The ongoing legal war between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has taken another turn, with notable online personalities being drawn into the fight over possible collusion via their Blake-bashing commentary. A source with direct knowledge tells TMZ Perez Hilton, Candace Owens, and Andy Signore have all been subpoenaed to turn over any and all communications with Justin Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties. The subpoenas may be connected to the judge's order earlier this month, allowing Blake to take discovery in order to uncover the alleged lengths, if any, that Baldoni's side may have gone to in working with notable anti-Blake content creators.
Wait, I noticed that Colonel Kurtz didn't get mentioned here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they presumed her innocent.
Colonel Kurtz is a great friend of the show. And I wonder I would like to know how she feels about this. Does she feel like, I mean, relieved because she doesn't have to spend money on court appearances, but a little bit left out maybe?
Well, I think the reason for Andy Signore getting this subpoena is that Brian Friedman issued an exclusive statement about the lawsuit, specifically to Popcorn Planet a couple of weeks ago, which I found quite strange. Nothing against independent people reporting on these things, nothing against content creators who aren't part of a larger organization, but it was something that rang odd to even Justin Baldoni's supporters that his legal team would issue an exclusive statement to a YouTuber. Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't seem like something people find respectable or just an industry standard.
Yes.
So that does lead some to believe that a YouTuber like Andy Signore is possibly communicating with Justin Baldoni or his team behind the scenes. However, that wouldn't prove what they're implying happened here. What Blake Lively's team is implying by issuing these subpoenas is that Candace Owens, Andy Signore, and Perez Hilton were colluding with Justin Baldoni last year in the summer during what the alleged smear campaign took place.
My gosh, was it that long ago?
Yes. Back in August of 2024, that's when they're claiming that this happened. And I watched Candace Owens' episode addressing this yesterday. She said she had not gotten delivered any subpoena. And the funny thing is, this is just how journalists always conduct themselves. TMZ sent her an email, and Andy Signore, and I'm assuming Perez Hilton as well, asking for a statement in response to the situation.
Right before they drop it. So that way,
Yep.
if they don't, they can say that they reached out for comment but didn't get a response back.
So this article was released by TMZ at, I believe, 2:17 p.m. yesterday. And they sent the emails at
11. Yeah, it was 11:17 Pacific.
Right.
Yeah.
And they sent the emails for statements literally 6 minutes prior to publishing.
Scummy.
Yeah.
Scummy.
So what they want to happen is for someone to click on this article.
Oh, they reached, but what do you mean? They reached out for comment and they had nothing to say.
Right. That's what it says at the bottom.
Still waiting to hear back.
Right.
To be fair,
Right.
To be fair, websites like TMZ will update articles.
They did update it. But still, I just wanted to mention they wanted people to think, oh, she's staying silent. I wonder why. But here was Candace Owens' statement. Given the fact that I have not received any subpoena yet, I appreciate Blake's team leaking this to TMZ to alert me to it. And of course, I have not the slightest idea what I am being subpoenaed for, as I knew none of these parties when their respective lawsuits were filed. But stay tuned and I'll let audiences know on my podcast. So she actually, on her podcast, opened her phone, opened her text messages, word searched Blake Lively, and just showed everyone her phone. And she said, like, this is the earliest mention. In 2019, I was complimenting Blake Lively's engagement ring. And after that, the second time that she ever mentioned Blake Lively was about covering remember the interview where Blake Lively said, oh, I love your little bump to the journalist? She was sending a message to her employee about covering that on the show.
Yeah.
There's no text message chain with Justin Baldoni. There's no shadowy organization behind the scenes that Justin Baldoni is employing a bunch of YouTubers to make Blake Lively look bad.
To be fair, if you were going to do that, you'd probably use a burner phone anyways, but...
Sure, okay.
But
this is paranoid schizophrenia,
Yeah.
okay? Like, she just cannot accept the reality that people genuinely don't like her. And they genuinely were looking at her behavior in old interviews and saying, this is a rude, entitled celebrity. For context, the journalist in that old interview said to Blake Lively, who was pregnant at the time, something about how she was complimenting her baby bump. And Blake Lively said, oh, I love your little bump.
Yeah.
Okay, like a psycho. And people circulated that video, and that was around August of 2024, before any of this lawsuit stuff blew up. And it was just a genuine matter of public interest that Blake Lively is kind of a shitty person. So nobody had to coordinate or collude on anything.
Which is weird, because it's not like that's even like some type of death knell in Hollywood.
No.
Like that can be your whole brand.
No, if she just had a speck of social media literacy, I think she would realize that just ignoring the bad press and keeping it pushing is always the move. Don't address it, never talk about it, and act like it never happened.
Yep, just keep
The movie
going.
was successful. Maybe some people were making fun of you on Twitter for a week, but nobody remembers that 2 seconds later.
Short attention spans, and the outrage cycle moves so fast.
Wild.
That just keep going. Literally just keep going. Like, we do this for a living, and I was just, and there will be times where I'm like, who is that person that said that thing? Because we go through so much in a week that you forget. Like, okay, so just earlier I was mentioning like Olivia Munn saying that a director called her combative. In exactly 1 hour, I'm going to be like, who is the actress who said something? Like, I'm not going to remember.
Like, Blake Lively doesn't realize how unimportant she truly is, actually.
Which is a good thing, because you get to both make the money and be bulletproof, because people won't remember or care.
Exactly.
Just go on and make your next movie about domestic abuse and talk about what florals you're going to wear and
sell your alcohol brand, sell your hair care brand.
It'll be fine.
And then as for Andy Signore, he also issued a statement. His attorney says, my client has not been served with any legal process at this time. Should service occur, we intend to vigorously defend against any claims and will protect the confidentiality of sources on both sides.
Okay.
This is also an attack on independent journalism.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? It's not just Blake Lively being paranoid and psycho, which she is. It is basically an intimidation tactic. Stop talking about this public lawsuit. Stop making me look bad.
Correct.
Stop reporting on it. Stop getting tips from sources. They want to issue subpoenas to discover who these sources are. And it discourages independent journalists or content creators from reporting on this matter, which obviously engages public interest. And that is the most worrying part of it. But I will have to say, like, Blake Lively really got too bold with this one. You do not want to pick a fight with a Candace Owens.
Yeah.
Like, you're just making the wrong public enemy. You're about to, it's going to be the ultimate FAFO.
Because she's like, her husband's got money. She can go to war.
She has her own legal team.
Yeah.
This isn't her first rodeo with, getting subpoenaed. This isn't her first rodeo with legal trouble or celebrity feuds by far. It's just wild, though. Like, just the day before, Candace Owens was saying that Donald Trump called her on the phone and asked her to stop talking about Brigitte Macron. What kind of life is that? That people are constantly trying to silence you from talking about things that clearly interest millions of people.
Yeah.
It seems like just an effort to stifle speech. I really don't like it.
The point of him calling was like, look, she looked like a woman to me.
No, literally.
I know.
That's the most insane part of it, is that he said, like, oh,
he's like, look,
I hung out with her one time. She looked like a chick.
I think I got a good look at her. She looked like a woman. All right.
Insane.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.